I'm Duan. Welcome to PD Tech for another professional guide.
And I'm Peter. Smart systems lead to better margins. PD Tech streamlines the admin for Kiwi tradespeople.
Watch this video to learn how to set up repeating invoices in Xero. Turn an existing invoice into a repeating invoice template, or create a new repeating invoice template. To repeat an existing invoice, first, find the invoice and open it. Then, click the menu icon and choose Repeat. Alternatively, to create a repeating invoice from scratch, click Sales, then select Invoices. Click the new Repeating Invoice button to open the Repeating Invoice template screen. In this example, we want to invoice a tenant for renting our extra studio space once a month. Complete the fields at the top of the screen so Xero knows when and how often to repeat the invoice. First, choose the frequency you want Xero to send your invoices. For example, for a monthly invoice, leave the fields set to the default of 1 and months. Then set your invoice date. This is the starting point for your repeating invoice, and you can set it in the past, present, or future. Let's set the date as the end of August. The due date is when payment is expected. If it's due on the same day, Xero creates the invoice, enter 0, and leave days after the invoice date selected. In this example, we expect payment a week after the invoice date, so we'll enter 7 and choose days after the invoice date. Add an optional end date if the repeating invoice is for a limited period of time. Otherwise, leave it blank for ongoing invoices. Next, update the status of the repeating invoice. Select Save as Draft if each invoice will vary, requires individual review, or if you're tracking inventory. If you choose this option, you'll find the invoices in the Draft tab to review and finalize. Selecting Approve means Xero will automatically approve the invoice, but you'll need to send it. And selecting Approve for Sending means Xero will automatically approve and email the invoice to your customer. Let's select Approve for Sending, as we want this invoice to be as automated as possible. Start typing your contact's name in the Invoice To field and select it from the list. Next, complete the invoice details. If you've repeated an existing invoice, Xero copies the original invoice details. Complete the reference field. If the details vary each invoice, add placeholders, so information updates before approving or sending it. Click Insert Placeholder and select the placeholders you want to include. For example, inserting month in the reference field shows the month of the invoice, like August in our example. You can also add and subtract in a placeholder to change the value. For example, if you're charging for services in advance, or arrears. Next, select the branding theme you want to apply to the repeating invoice, if you have more than one set up. Click Manage to set up online payment options with Stripe or Go Cardless to offer your customers more ways to pay so you can get paid faster. Use Go Cardless to set up and collect direct debit payments on repeating invoices to automate invoicing and payment collection in Xero. If you have a business edition plan with multi-currency, you can change the currency using the first Amounts Are drop-down. Use the second drop-down to choose the tax setting to apply to the invoice. Or use the Item field to choose an item you've set up as untracked inventory. Click the drop-down arrow. You can add a new product or service by choosing New Item if needed, or scroll to find the item. Alternatively, type the name in the field to narrow the search. We've got an item for studio rent, which we'll select from the list. When you click the description field, you can use the Insert Placeholders drop-down to add details that change each time the invoice repeats. Let's add a placeholder for month to the description. You can reorder invoice lines by dragging and dropping them, or delete lines by selecting the cross against each line you want to remove. Xero automatically removes unused lines when you save the repeating invoice. Finally, select Preview Placeholders to view how the placeholders will appear in the invoice. When previewing the placeholders, Xero uses today's date as the base date, not the transaction date. Review the information in your repeating invoice, then click Save to review your message settings. Click Done to save your repeating invoice. View a list of your repeating invoices at any time in the Repeating tab. If you need to edit a repeating invoice template, click it and make the required changes. Xero won't change any existing draft, approved, or sent invoices, only future invoices. Now you're ready to set up repeating invoices in Xero to save time.